Wake Up season finale. Thank you. Kei was outside the clubroom, hands fixed on the railings. He stared forward as he said this. Tobio was standing beside him but facing the clubroom door. His arms were crossed over his chest. You don't have to say thank you. Atsumu being here in Karasuno is actually my fault. If I didn't transfer to Inarizaki, none of this would have happened. Kei did not shift his gaze. But you left because of me. No, it was for me. I thought I would feel better if I moved away. If I don't see Shoyo with you. Tobio released his crossed arms and played with his bag's strap. But it really didn't. I felt more depressed. And I realized it after I got to talk to you last night, and Shoyo this morning. Kei shifted his head to face Tobio. I'd rather see him with you than to actually not see him at all. Kei returned to looking forward. I understand. There was a short pause. Do I have to fight for Shoyo? Tobio looked down. I still love Shoyo. But I let him go because I know he loves you more than he loves me. I still believe that. I want Shoyo's happiness. He's happier with you. But please. Tobio faced Kei, and bent his upper body. Please let me be around him. I won't steal him from you, I promise. Kei side glanced at Tobio, shocked with Tobio's actions, then smirks. I'm going to beat the hell out of you if you ever try to steal my sunshine away from me. Tobio was on his way to dropping to his knees. Realizing this, Kei stopped him. You don't really have to do that. TSK, stand up, you idiot. Tobio followed, stood up straight, but his head was still looking on the floor. I'll do anything for you to allow me to be with him. His hair was covering his eyes. You're part of Shoyo's happiness, Kageyama. I'm not stupid enough to cut you off his life just because I see you as competition. Kei turned around, now facing the clubroom door as well. I just have this one request. Tobio's head shifted to look at Kei. Don't make me jealous too much. I'm jealous enough just seeing you this eager to be with Shoyo. Tobio nodded. I'll try my best not to, Tsukihina. Promise me two things though. That is, 1. I know you're already doing it. Take care of Shoyo. The second, never hurt him. I have no intention to do that. Kei looked at the full moon as he shifted his gaze to the dark sky. That would probably be the time I'll regret giving him up. That would probably be the time I'll take him back from you. That will never happen. Tobio nodded. Just then, the clubroom door opened. The light from inside blinding the setter and middle blocker. Shoyo stepped out of the clubroom. His smile was so bright. Kei and Tobio's face lit up. Hey, why are you two together? He raised an eyebrow. Were you two talking about me? The two tensed up. Shoyo burst out of the clubroom, hugging both in his arms. The two blushed as Shoyo did this. Kei smiled and ruffled Shoyo's hair, while Tobio rubbed Shoyo's back. Why so happy, love? Tobio flinched when he heard this, but continued rubbing Shoyo's back. I'm just so happy you both are getting along. After the congratulatory dinner prepared by Coach Yokai at his house, it was time to head home for the Karasuno volleyball team. They waved their hands to Coach Yokai. Sensei Takeda was thoughtful enough to take some of the members home using his car. Daichi and Sugawara separated from the others. Shoyo was blabbering with his senpai Nishinoya and Tanaka. They were talking about the practice game earlier. How they admired the Mia twins for their coolness. How they admired Kita for being so calm during the game. How Daichi was so persistent to win the match because Tobio was now back. How Sugawara teared up when Kei blocked the Mia twins' version of the freak attack. How Nishinoya received Atsumu's still ridiculous serves despite his jaw aching from the punch Kei gave him before the game. How Tanaka did his line shot while 3 blockers were in front of him. How Shoyo spiked that last set Tobio gave him. The topics went on and on. Too noisy. Kei and Tobio were following the 3 behind. The 3 stopped from walking and looked back at Kei, Shoyo now with a pout on his face. What? Kei was both irritated and laughing inside. That cute pout on Shoyo's face made him smirk. Shoyo crossed his arms, looking straight at Kei. Tobio was sipping his milk, looking at Kei and Shoyo back and forth. Are you two arguing? He finally said to Kei. You know I can go straight to what I said outside the clubroom. Kei tried to remember what Tobio said outside the clubroom. I'll take him back from you. We're not fighting, dumbass. Tobio almost spit out his milk, laughing at how defensive Kei looked. The three looked at each other, confused with how Kei and Tobio were acting. Ignoring the two, the three went back to happily talking and bragging to each other about the match. Kei turned his head back to Tobio, his brows furrowed, thinking about what Tobio said. Tobio crushed his milk carton and dumped it in the garbage bin he saw as they walked their way home. Don't think about it too much, Tsukihina. I told you, I won't steal him from you. Just make sure he's being taken care of. There's no way I'm gonna hurt Shoyo. Tobio nodded. Just then, the three in front decided to see who runs fastest. They stopped on their tracks. In 1, 2, and 3. The three sprinted at the count of 3. Kei and Tobio lost sight of the three as they turned around the corner. Then they heard a loud screech. Kei and Tobio looked at each other, started hurrying their pace. When they reached the corner, panic crept to both their bodies. They saw Nishinoya and Tanaka on the side of the street. Shoyo was standing in the middle of the street, staring at a car in front of him. He then faced the four, eyes finally locked on Kei, just before his body dropped on the cold cemented street.